House of Bob is sponsored by Legend 7 Brewing. Based in our hometown of Calgary, Alberta, these guys do a ton to keep us online and keep beers in our fridge. Thanks for listening. If you like what you hear, you can support House of Bob and help us grow by reviewing us on iTunes, buying merch from our Etsy store, or even just telling your friends about us. Roll on. This has been 2 months since we've last played Tomb of Annihilation. Last time you played, you all found yourselves in a swampy area of the Aldani Basin, which is a plateau covered in dense fog. You had previously escaped from a Grung encampment, parted ways with Ferrule and Gondolo, said farewell to a Saurian named Dragonbait, who's on his own quest out here in the jungle. Now, lacking food, you attempted to do some foraging and encountered a number of Dimetrodon that you, of course, handled without breaking a sweat. That night, you received a message from your contact in Port Nyanzaru. Your ship's mage and dear friend Hacksail has almost certainly passed away by this time. You all sent your carefully crafted words back and went to bed, dreaming uncertain dreams about the future. And now you are level 4! Yay! When we level up, what I thought would be fun, because I'm stealing it from a different podcast, is that when we roll hit points, I will roll at the same time as you, and whoever gets the higher number, that's how many hit points you'll gain for the level. And then we'll go on, we'll talk about what else you guys get for this level. Douglas is immediately to my left. Cristina, what is your hit die?
6.
All right, so we'll both roll d6s.
5.
I got a 2.
So now I have 27 hit points.
Cranston, played by Jake, of course, is our next player. What's the Bard hit die?
It's a D8. I got a 7.
Oh, shit.
I rolled a 1, so so far
better.
you guys are doing much better than me today.
No fair, he gets a do-over? Bullshit.
Horrik, played by Alex.
D10. 5.
I got a 7.
So I get to go up by 10.
Congratulations, you've graduated to level 4.
Damn.
Dan, the ranger, Leanna, with Cougar Town.
That's me.
What's the ranger?
D10. 3.
I got a 6.
Yay!
Trevor, Rye Vin Osbon is a barbarian, so that's a d12.
Yep. 7.
I rolled an 8.
Yay!
Yay! Congratulations.
Hooray!
And now we roll all of everybody's dice for the Dungeon Master hit.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, and we just add those up, and that's how many hit points I get.
Hang on.
What does level 4 mean for you? Douglas has been out here in the jungle for a little while, found some new friends.
Yeah.
How did you improve at level 4?
I acquired a new feat, which is Combat Mage, and that's just because since I've been with you guys, I've had to fight with people a whole lot more, it seems like.
So you're getting better at fighting while casting and casting
exactly.
while fighting. Nice.
Because,
A valuable skill. You're welcome.
yeah. Thanks.
For the many conflicts to come, because you're hanging out with these guys, you're going to need it. What about Cranston? What does Cranston get at level 4?
Now that Hacksail and Darg are gone, or well, out of the picture for now anyway, Cranston kind of feels like he's responsible for the safety and well-being of this pathetic group of maggots.
Wow.
Every morning you see Cranston, he's going around and casting his mending spell on your gear and tending to wounds and
weird,
offering criticism, constructive criticism.
Your face is ugly.
Work on that.
Hey, didn't your charisma go up?
A result of that is that I took the feat Inspiring Leader, which gives everybody temporary hit points after a rest. And it's 8 temporary hit points for everybody.
Sweet. Mr. Horrik Jones,
Horrik Jones.
tell me about your level 4.
Well, Horrik puts all of his points into charisma. Having reflected on his time with Ferrule and Gondolo, he realizes he may not have given those two rascals a fair chance. He is inspired by Ferrule's bubbling personality and Gondolo's gift for gab and aspires to perhaps be a little more like them.
Wow. That is big of Horrik.
Yeah,
He's a big man with a big heart.
that's right.
Lee, do you and Town benefit in any way from gaining level 4? Because you're already really powerful, and I feel like you shouldn't get anything new.
Lee decided to go the ability score modifiers. She's going to bump her intelligence up by 1 and her constitution up by 1. Mostly just out of pure survival in the jungle. She's learning to be the frontline fighter.
Cool. Very cool. And Rye Vin Osbon.
Rye went the ability score route. Going around through the jungle, their wisdom modifier has gone up. They find that surviving in the jungle has become more precedenting the deeper into the jungle they go.
Yeah. Help you guys stay on the path. Help you guys watch out for those ambushes.
Precisely.
Totally. Everybody's sent off their letters to Hacksail. You guys are stomping out the coals on the fire and tucking into bed. And you drift into the world of dreams. Everything is dark. Dark, but with an incessant, vibrating crackle. Noise like a drone that buries into your bones and your mind. Something here is green, but you can't tell what it is. It's not a life-giving green. It's a green like decay. Green like hatred and envy. Green like death. It's in the edges of your vision, and wherever you look, it leaves an impression. There's something here. Foreign and grotesque and hungry and evil. Evil even for this place, wherever this is. It prowls like a massive cat, suckling at the motes of energy foolish enough to get in its way. Growing with each stride, it hungers. The pain of its hunger adds to and doubles the cacophony of silent noise that vibrates this existence, and then something else arrives. A white light, suffused with that same green. It appears in the distance, enlarging from a blob to a vaguely humanoid shape. It grows arms and legs, and great curling horns sprout from its head as it forms. The silhouette of a staff appears in his hand. Confidently, the white silhouette strides forward, each step full of decisiveness, each step moving at thousands of miles, each step moving it through millennia. The white figure and the hungry thing come face to face. The hungry thing lashes out, attempting to strike the white figure, attempting to gnash and bite and claw and chew, to force the figure into its grumbling black hole of a stomach. The figure taps its staff against the ground. It echoes. The hungry thing yowls. These are the first sounds this place has ever heard. Yes, the figure says. Yes, you'll do nicely. The party awakens the morning after learning of Hacksail's death. For some reason, like you're remembering a few words to a song that was stuck in your head, you keep thinking of the words, yes, you'll do nicely.
Thank you.
Wait. Well, learning of Hacksail's death, I thought we were...
This is the next morning now.
I didn't realize that it was so...
Yeah, basically when that monkey came, he was dying.
Rye is struggling with the
so
mortality.
the letter had said that Hacksail would likely not live through the night.
Oh.
So that was like our fax machine to him.
Yeah. Sure.
Or,
the carrier pigeon,
or the magical letter of sending that would instantly
No, it's not a carrier pigeon
fax
because the thing,
machine.
it got to him directly as we wrote it.
Oh, so as we wrote it, he was seeing it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Presumably.
Weird.
That'd be funny if we wrote something like, oh, erase.
You were my favorite. Scratch.
Yeah. I'll always love you.
No one filled the sails.
You were okay.
Yeah, no one failed the sales.
You guys find yourselves on the plateau of the Aldani Basin. You are still a little wet from the travel before through the swamps, and you know that you need to continue in a westerly direction.
I'm always a
We
little
were headed to the Oracle, correct?
That's right.
Yes, we were heading for the Oracle.
That's
yeah.
good. Let's do that.
All right.
Let's continue to do that.
So,
Did y'all have that weird dream?
No, just the dream I have every night.
as you guys are traveling further west, I'll get your guide, whoever that may be.
You, isn't it?
No, I'm the navigator.
Rye was guiding us, right?
I'll guide.
Horrik can only navigate on the ocean.
That's right. If I recall, Horrik kept saying, I'm the navigator.
I'm the navigator.
So Rye dusts off his pants and like looks at the dirt and looks at the grass, looks at the trees and looks at the sky and says, we are going that way.
Oh, shit.
I rolled a 19 plus 3.
22.
22 to looking at the skies and the trees and the grass and the ground and dusting off my pants.
And the cat's in the cradle and the...
Two different songs.
And so, now that Ferrul and Gondolo are far in your past, you have regained confidence over which way is north. You now know that you are reliably headed west. You guys delve back into the jungle towards a distant set of mountains that the Sorial Dragonbait told you was the Oracle was located at.
Perfect.
Are we walking into
Follow
the
me,
thick
guys.
brush?
You are returning back to the thick brush, yes.
Into the long
All
grass.
right, I'll be in front and I'll just hack away with my short swords.
Okay. What I'm going to get you guys to do is describe to me, as you're traveling through the jungle, what are each of you kind of focusing on doing as your travel task? That could be you're looking out for things, you're trying to hide, you are trying to navigate as you go, you are singing a song for everybody to keep their morale up. What is your focus as you're traveling?
Horrik is thinking about when lunch is going to happen next.
Just daydreaming about
He's
lunch.
just daydreaming about lunch. Horrik's a big guy. He hasn't eaten in a while. He's getting hungry.
I think you had some frozen Dimetrodon you were slavering over.
Yeah, but that was hours ago. So Horrik, I guess, looks around for maybe like berries that look like they might be edible.
Okay.
Horrik, no! And I smack them out of your hand.
This is all right. This is all right. I'll get you, as we're traveling, to roll survival.
That's Nightshade.
It's Nightshade. It's fine. 8.
Right as Leanna looks away, you're like, screw you. I'll eat whatever I want.
I'll eat whatever I want.
And you do pocket some berries. And you...
Red ones.
You munch on a few. They're red. A little bit bittersweet.
Is your tongue getting swollen?
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
You're going to end up with the poisoned condition.
Okay.
You couldn't just wait till lunch.
He could not. You will have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. What are the rest of you doing as you're traveling?
Cranston, I think, is just keeping a marching beat on his drum. Keep everybody up, paced.
And letting all people around us know where we are.
Yeah,
that's good. Thanks.
But I don't think he's really paying too much attention to the travel. I think he's a bit distracted right now. A lot to think about. He's kind of just dazing off into the middle distance.
That makes sense. Give me a perform.
12.
The whole group, because of your marching chant or marching beat that you're giving them, you guys will move a little bit faster today.
Nice.
And I will allow you all to have a +2 on your next roll.
Wow.
Because I am a generous god. Douglas, Leanna, Rye. Lee, what are you doing as we're traveling?
Lee is focused solely on the path ahead. She is a bit distracted, obviously, from the assumed death of Hacksail. She's just hanging out with Cougar in the front line and just making sure the path is clear, looking for any tracks, maybe.
Are you like trying to keep an eye out for ambush or for other animals that might be in the way?
She's keeping her ears perked for that.
As we're going, then make a perception check.
18.
You guys are moving along at a pretty good pace thanks to the beat, and you manage to actually find a set of fallen logs that form sort of a natural bridge across the river, saving you guys further time along your trip.
Nice.
You managed to go around a couple cliff edges because you managed to find this natural bridge. Nice work.
Did it.
Douglas, Rye?
Rye is not sure how to deal with the death of Hacksail and just sort of frustrated with it all. And now there's this incessant drum beating and like belly aching. And it's just like, oh, you know what?
My tummy hurts.
I just got to focus on the trail and how we're going to get to this camp.
Okay, give me a survival. See if you can get yourself a little bit extra out of the day.
10.
Just enough to not incur anything bad.
Nice.
Nice. As you're going, you actually come across some indicators of a passing group of people that have been through here before. And following the trail on a quick sort of offshoot, maybe just for 10 minutes, you find a cache lodged underneath a couple of rotted out canoes.
Can I take a look at it and open it up?
You actually find a couple lengths of rope, 4 cure wounds potions.
Nice.
Whoa.
That you know to be clean.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool.
Good job, Rye.
This must be like a regular stopping point for somebody then.
Yeah, we just jacked all their stuff.
Yeah. Or they just...
Welcome to the jungle, am I right?
I guess.
Should have hit it better.
Should have hit it better.
I mean, if a 10 could find it, come on, guys.
Douglas, you're our last to go. What do you do?
I mean, I'm sort of reading the room in the terms that nobody is going to want a conversation or anything. So I think I'm just kind of like throwing my ice knives at the ground as we're walking. Maybe I was hoping to hit like little plants or like little animals, but that's not happening with this drum beat anymore.
Okay, I get it. Don't like the drum beat.
No, it's
I'll
good.
just take back those +2s now.
Yeah,
I didn't use it.
It's great. But yeah, I'm just kind of occupying myself while we're walking. Mechanically.
Practicing your aim.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You guys travel for probably a majority of the day when ahead of you looms a giant ziggurat, a pyramid made of brick and stone rising from the jungle. 2 staircases angle up and across the front face, one from the right, one from the left, to meet at a landing on the second level 30 feet above your heads. You see this layout repeat on the second level and the third level, with each successive layer adding a little bit less height than the one below it. The final level, the 4th level, 60 feet above the jungle floor, is an enclosed shrine or temple. Its walls are adorned with labyrinth symbols. And as you get closer, you can see that the jungle encroaches right up onto this ancient structure. The first few flights of steps are choked with creepers, tree roots, and flowering vines. You think maybe this had been surrounded by a city long ago, but the jungle's so dense that it would take hours of searching to find buried foundations and tumbled stones.
Maybe this is where the old lady lives.
I don't think we've.
I don't
gone far
really been
enough
close to that yet.
to be near the Oracle, or
Well, you know that it's somewhere in this valley.
sure.
Pull out the map and
you think
try
it's
to
possible you're
gauge.
getting close.
Yeah.
You know, with a rough sketch that Dragonbait had given you, Maybe. Seems like a type of place an Orgle might hang out.
Sure.
And as you get closer, you see at the base of the steps 4 human guides standing watch at the bottom of the ziggurat. They're right now staring up at the upper levels as another human in a flowing red and gold robe descends the steps. He's got this huge shock of black and white hair zigzagging out from the top of his head. He's got a heavily waxed mustache and a pointy beard. He's using a quarterstaff in one hand to steady his step, and in the other hand, he's clutching this tiny grey lapdog under his arm.
Easy, Masterpiece, easy. Fear not, my sweet. We shall be away from this despicable jungle before long. Yes, back home, dry, no bugs, no snakes. Ugh, certainly no snakes.
The lapdog barks incessantly in return. Upon reaching the bottom of the ziggurat, he passes his dog to one of the guides, fishes in his pocket, pulls out a handful of brightly colored objects, tosses them on the ground, and then stomps on them repeatedly, spitting as if trying to cleanse his mouth out. And suddenly you realize that the 4 men waiting for the eccentric man are not alone. 4 tall humanoid skeletons stand at attention beside them. Their rib cages are packed tight with water skins, bedrolls, rope, glittery objects, and other adventuring gear, as if they're some sort of walking storage crates.
Cool.
That's smart.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, that's clever.
It's crazy.
Boom. Good move.
If we kill one of us, we could stuff our ribcage full of... Not it.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, not
Yeah,
it.
hold your nose. I'm getting kind of a bad feeling from these guys.
No, they seem friendly.
What did you say they
enough.
threw on the ground?
He had all these brightly colored objects. If you make a perception check from where you
Yeah,
are,
I do.
maybe we'll see.
Hell yeah.
I got an 8.
Okay, Cranston has no idea.
12.
Leanna also has no idea.
15 from Rye.
Rye, you're pretty sure that in that bundle of stuff that he threw on the ground, you see something like a feather and a flower.
So just a bunch of flowery crap.
It's probably spell components or something like that.
Oh, so
maybe.
he's a
Yeah, I was going to ask
sissy.
if I could use like Arcana to see if that was like a spell that I might know or something.
The components themselves might have been, but you didn't see a spell being cast.
Yeah.
So
It usually doesn't involve stomping and spitting, I don't think.
Maybe it was
Also, you do that when you cast like your ice daggers.
I mean, not every spell is exactly the same.
well, maybe the spell components didn't work, and so he's throwing them out because magic sucks. And
Hey. No, I'm not magical. That's cool.
then you hear from over by the pyramid, Vegas, who are those? Who are those? Go see. You see the human guides turn in surprise, spot you guys. They start coming towards you.
Hello.
we wave.
Hello, good friends.
What are you?
We are travelers.
I am Kozef Horkla.
Zavorkla?
That's a name?
Kozef?
Lee.
Koldsef?
Kozef?
Kozef.
Horkla.
Hokla.
Kozef
Hoopla.
Hokla.
Hoopla. And I am Douglas.
That's a mouthful.
Glad to meet you, Douglas.
Glad to meet you. And who is this, your friend? I point at the dog.
This is Masterpiece.
Aw, cute little masterpiece. Yes, you are.
It like growls and like.
Is there any indication that the dog is undead?
No.
What kind of dog is it?
Like a mini Whippet Yorkshire weird mixed thing. It's completely out of place in a jungle, obviously.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Fantasy.
Maybe some sort
craze.
of poodle type dog. Yeah.
It's all the dogs.
Mini poodle. Yeah.
Every dog.
Every annoying dog
Yeah.
combined into
basically
one.
all the annoying dogs combined into one. And
Got
it's
it.
just got like those like really nasty twisty teeth. They're like,
Masterpiece my ass.
well, how is jungle for you?
Bad.
Yeah, pretty bad, I would say.
Not the best.
I know this. This jungle is best.
Is what?
Best.
It's the worst.
Full of dangers.
Oh, worst.
Is
I was
your-
hearing best. I was like, no, that's not what we said at all.
This jungle is best.
Excuse me, Douglas. You are obviously wizard. Is your elf only know one language?
I mean, that's even debatable. Whether it's 1.5.
Yeah, fuck you, Douglas.
I don't know you that well.
You let the servant speak to you like this?
Hey!
She's no servant, and I pat her on the head.
He turns to the men that are with him and he says, we just do not expect any head pats.
Reed just doesn't expect head pats?
He should not.
Yeah. Well, he's a servant, so he should not. But Lee is no servant. She is my guide?
Oh, we're lying now. Okay.
I can't remember what you do.
All right,
I thought we were supposed to be friends, Douglas.
We've
friends.
had a few days of travel together now.
Yeah, friends is a strong term.
You would grow in friendship, if anything.
This sounds like you have
We've been traveling together too long.
Yeah. Too
It's
long.
complicated when you listen into
a
relation.
couple days stretched to many, many years in real time, yes?
You know how it is in the jungle, and I wink.
Oh, I know. And he casts a spell that cleans his clothes off. You know this to be prestidigitation. He's, the mud separates from his clothing and his shoes kind of mend up a little bit. And he casts it on Masterpiece as well. And then Masterpiece's hairstyle changes to have like some bow ties.
I do the same thing, but on Horrik.
Horrik gets some flowers in his hair, couple in his stubble, and his belt just becomes vibrant and pink.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Thanks, Douglas.
Do I recognize any of the guys?
They weren't part of the roster that you
That
were
we saw?
given back
No?
in Partner
Okay.
and Zaro now. Wondering if you have like a history or knowledge local or something along those lines. Maybe even a religion check.
I have history.
I'm not trained in any of them, but
I actually am trained in history.
Douglas can.
Okay.
Douglas kind of knows the area better than us.
Yeah.
8.
They do have some sort of insignia on the inside arm section of their bracers, but you're just not getting a good look at it. It's not ringing a bell for you,
Yeah.
but you think they're probably some sort of organization.
Are they part of the guild that we know?
They look foreign. They don't look like Chiltons.
Okay.
If they are there, they would have been operating kind of similar to Ferrul and Gondolo being foreigners.
Okay.
What do you come for Oracle for?
Oh, is she up there?
Well, yes.
Yeah. Oh, we want to talk to her. So.
Phew, good luck. Basically useless.
Why she didn't talk to you?
Yeah, she talks and talks and talks and talks and
That's
talks.
what we want, though.
Yes, go in one ear, out the other. Nothing useful. Ugh.
That's usually how oracles
Talk
are.
in circles.
You have
Riddles.
to.
Trust me, I'm a very intelligent man.
You have to read between the lines.
Read between lines.
Yes.
You try. You tell me how
Okay.
successful you get.
All right. Are you going to be here when we get back?
Can I ask what you asked her about?
Oh, this is private information.
I know. That's why I'm asking you if I can
But
ask.
if we become friends, then maybe.
We gotta travel in the jungle together a bit.
I take out some of the water.
Apparently for a few
That we
days
got.
longer than we have.
I take out some of the fresh water that we just got to share.
Kozef is like, oh, yes, thank you. Regis, some water? And Regis comes up, takes the water, and distributes it among the guides. But Kozef does not partake himself. Instead, he pulls out his own flask and pours himself some water out of it. And
Is it water?
it is water. He takes his hip flask out and goes over to one of the skeletons and pulls out a flagon, a silver enameled, beautiful little flagon with a nice handle and some vine work on it. And he pours the hip flask into it. And the amount of liquid that comes out of the hip flask is far more than would be in it. It's obviously magical in some way. Fills his tankard up to the top and takes a swig from that rather than
Probably
from the
didn't need
water
to
you
give him
offered
water
him.
then.
Can I cast Arcana to kind of see what kind of wizard he is?
You could roll an Arcana to see if maybe you recognize some of his insignia or some of his accoutrement.
24.
He definitely has like the focuses that he would have and the material components that you can see visible around here, as well as these, 4 living skeletons. He is most definitely some sort of necromancer.
I could tell from the skeletons, you guys.
He must be going with a race against time, you could say.
Where are you headed?
I'm going south.
Why south?
There is a great treasure of great renown, and I hope to claim it for my country. Kozef and his entourage, having said their goodbyes, delve out back into the jungle.
Are the remains of
We're good
the
friends.
things that they threw on the
my
ground and
water.
stomped on, are they here still?
They are, yeah. You remember where he threw them down. You can go take a
Yeah, I
look
just
at
want
them.
to get a closer look at that.
You see some orange and purple petals. There is a reddish feather now trampled right into the mud. That's what he dropped. You approach the ziggurat. The steps are about 10 feet wide. Who's going to go up first?
Horrik's gonna go first.
Okay.
He's inspired by how brave Ferrul and Gondolo used to be.
Nice. So Horrik, you
Rest in peace.
you are heading up. You're heading up the first level here, and you can see that the stairs ahead of you are grown over and clustered with all these tree roots and vines and stuff like that. And first little ways is, it's tough to get through, but it's not hindering. But then it starts to get a little tighter and you start really having to struggle through it. And then you get to a point maybe 20 feet up the first set of stairs and the thorns on them are starting to dig away at you and catch on your clothing and start to pierce you. And you actually start to take about a point of damage for every foot of progress that you start to make.
Great.
I'm going to give you 5 points of damage, Horrik.
Oh my god.
Another 30 feet to go
Holy crap.
before you get to the next level.
I can't make it.
So, yeah, instead of just
Maybe-
trudging through
Yeah.
a wall of vines.
Stop pushing.
How thick are these vines? Could Horrik sever them with his war pick?
You could try it.
We might want to hold up before we do anything destructive, if we have any better plans first. Because this is like the
That doesn't
Oracle's
sound like
hangout,
us.
right? Like, is there another part of the ziggurat that you could climb up as opposed to walk up?
Cranston, once you start talking about alternatives,
Yeah.
you feel something gently touch your legs from...
Burn it!
Oh, I'm sorry.
You jump and you look down and you see it looks like a naked little man. He is about 8 inches tall, and the skin of this creature completely midnight black, except for the head, which is this white shield-shaped disc.
Oh, you scared the bejesus out of me.
It was lightly tugging on your pants,
Yeah.
and then darts off down the steps a little ways into the brush, and comes back with a purple and yellow orchid. It goes up to the steps, waves it in front of itself, holding the orchid in front of itself, and walks up, unhindered, to the first level. And then he disappears from view.
Cool. Well, let's maybe go explore the outskirts of the clearing here and see if we can
I
find some
feel
more
like
orchids.
Lee should be able to find these orchids pretty well.
Yeah.
You step into the brush, you take a look around. They're plentiful here.
Do I find other flowers as well?
There are some other flowers, some nice blue little tiny flowers. There's some of those jug flowers that capture bugs and stuff like that.
Okay. I'm going to pick up a few different varieties. I don't know if we'll need any of these later, but
Sure.
What color were the petals that the necromancer dropped?
Yellow and purple.
I grabbed the yellow and purple and I divvy them out and hand them to everyone.
You guys wave the orchid in the same way that the little creature did, and you make your way up the steps unhindered to the first level.
Is the little creature still with us? Or is he just like passing
He was
through?
up. He was up ahead of you.
His name's
when
Rye.
you.
I'm going back down. I wave and I go all the way up. You know, the muscle waits at the bottom of the stairs. You guys go talk to the...
You guys get up to that first level. You're now in front of the second set of steps, and you can see that they are probably 30, 35 feet long, rising 20 feet, and these appear to be just nice clear steps. You can just go.
Appear to be.
Yeah.
As you know, nothing is quite so easy, and whoever attempts to take up these steps, as they get past the first couple, the steps beneath you crumble into gravel, and you slide right back down to the stage with the rest of the people.
Do they then reform?
They do.
Is there anything that I could hook my grappling hook onto up above?
Up above, there's a couple crenellations in it, like some stonework that maybe you could grab onto.
All right, I'm going to swing it and try. We'll see what happens.
Okay. You swing up your grappling hook, waving it overhead. You throw it, and it falls just short of the top step.
So close.
In fact, you try a few times, and every time it just hits just a little bit below.
I look to the little creature then, crouch down. How do we get past this part, little guy?
He scurries out. He drops the orange and purple orchid where it was, and he pulls out a red parrot feather, takes out the flower again, does a little jig in front of the steps, waving the feather back and forth, and then scurries up.
I'm going to pick up a stone and hurl it into one of the nearby trees.
Okay. Yeah.
On the off chance you hit a parrot?
No, on the off chance that I rustle up some birds and see if any red ones fly out.
Yeah, you actually scare some birds out of the tree. You hear some hooting of monkeys as well, and a couple parrots fly out of the tree.
Did I see any of the red birds?
Yeah, you did see some parrots fly out.
Presumably they've molted some feathers at some point. I imagine we can, if we examine their trees, maybe there's a dropped feather or something.
Maybe.
Okay. You do manage to pick up a few feathers that were just lying around in the grass and on the ground.
Cool.
Before we go back up, because we had to go back down for this, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to look at the pile that he stomped on.
Yeah, that is all that you see. The flower and the feather.
All right, up we go.
I try to mimic the jig that the little guy did with the feather.
Yeah. You guys head up the first set of steps, getting past the thorns. You move past the second set of steps, avoiding the crumbling stairs, and you arrive at the third level. You're now in front of the final set of steps. They are about 20 feet long, rise about 12 feet. The stairs here are in excellent condition. However, you now see writhing and roiling over top of them are swarms of snakes.
Nope.
You guys are there staring at the snakes, and then the little creature again appears. He comes up to the base of the steps. He's got his red parrot feather and his orange and purple orchid, and he reaches out with the orchid just over the top of the first step, and he whacks a snake with it. The snake then rears up, revealing this huge cobra hood, hissing at the creature. Quickly, before it can even react, the little creature takes the parrot feather and tickles its side. The snake then lies on the ground in front of the steps and just sits there for a second. The little creature then lies down on its stomach, facing the snake, and the snake slithers towards it into its mouth until the snake disappears. The little black creature then slithers, its body suddenly operating just as a snake, slides up the steps to the top level.
He approached the snake.
All right. They don't seem to react to you at the moment.
I smack it with the
Throw the flowers on the...
Tickle, 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 tickle.
And it reacts the same way as it did to the creature, writhing down onto that step.
Now open the gullet.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I aim it towards my mouth.
And it slides in. You can feel the texture of the snake's scale sliding back over your tongue, down your esophagus. It feels like it's sitting inside your stomach, and then you feel this compulsion. You lie down on the ground, your body forms this S curve, and you start slithering up the steps to the top level. You get up to the top, and you start vomiting, and the snake slides back out of your body and rejoins its brethren.
I look
on the
down and I
steps.
give everyone like, hey guys, it's okay.
Horrik just sets one toe down on the first step by all the snakes.
They crit you. What? You're going to take some damage here. Their typical damage is 2d6, so we're doubling that because it's a crit. 17 piercing damage.
Oh my god.
And make a Constitution saving throw. Horrik, give me that Constitution check.
Okay.
Remember, you have disadvantage because you're poisoned.
23.
Oh, yeah, you're good. You can feel a little bit of the snake's poison trying to set in, but the venom is not taking hold.
Okay.
I pulled Douglas aside. When we were helping the frog guys,
Yes.
she bestowed upon you a ring of jump.
Oh yeah.
Just let it slide down your throat.
You really don't want to eat that snake, I guess. Well, one of us can jump.
And then maybe like toss it back? I don't know.
Nah, I'll just swallow a snake.
Oh.
It really didn't look that bad.
If you swallow a snake and move up.
Yeah.
Cranston,
How far is it up?
you think the magic of this place has prevented
Oh.
you from getting around it in other ways? You feel like this is like a fairy tale or a...
Yeah.
Lee and I start chanting, swallow the snake!
Swallow the snake.
Plus peer
Swallow
pressure.
the snake.
This is just like my dream. Cranston is going through a whole bunch of options in his head.
Oh, we're still chanting in the background.
With audible sigh.
You just gotta open up your
prepare
throat.
some, massages the muscles so you can take on this girthy snake.
You didn't have to pick the girthiest one, you know that, right?
If I'm gonna do it right. All right. Feather in one hand, flower in the other. Here I am, about to swallow a snake.
Stuck in the middle of you.
And you slither your way up to the top level and then vomit.
And then I vomit again for good measure.
Horrik, are you taking the plunge? Are you succumbing to peer
Horrik
pressure?
waves a little flower around, and he tickles a snake.
Oh my god, Horrik. You're
like
a natural.
spaghetti.
Like spaghetti.
Yeah. Like spaghetti.
And you...
Have you done this before?
You slither your way up to the top level
Yeah, he slurps it up, and then he slithers it up.
and once again vomit. Rye told me he's staying at the bottom.
No, I'm not doing this. You guys have fun.
Okay.
I'm going to sneakily track that wizard and his group of people.
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna go well.
Sure.
That'll be fine.
We'll come
Rye's
back.
gonna become a skeleton with stuff inside of him.
Nah.
Okay, I like that. We'll come back to that. All right, you're there on the top level now. You can see this small opening into the temple at the top of the tower. It's probably child height, and the small black creature walks in there, and he just goes right in.
Oh.
You enter a dark and low-ceiling stone hallway. It opens up a little bit once you're through the first kind of 5 foot of stone, and you see a series of columns. They're squarish, squat. The tallest of you have to kind of bend over when you're in here. Torchlight glitters ahead of you, and as you come to the center of the room, you come to a pool of crystal clear water, surrounded by cushions, reed mats, and there are hundreds of blooming potted flowers here. There are singing birds flitting from plant to plant. Behind you, in front of you, all around, you can suddenly hear a slithering sound, and you turn to see its source. It is a massive emerald green snake sliding around you in a big circle. And as it comes around, making this circle around you and around the pool, it grows larger and larger until it wraps over and over itself and the entire temple around you in a 20-foot radius is filled with this huge Ouroboros-style snake. The writhing snake mass makes a solid wall around you in every direction, and then you hear a voice.
I am Sajan Nabasa. What do you seek in this ancient place? Speak truly, for I hear your hearts.
We're looking for the source of the necromantic plague on this land.
The scales of Saja Nabaza glitter in the light before you, and she slithers around, and some of her scales begin to change color in a chameleon-like way. Glittering and glinting first with bright reds, but then some blues and some yellows start to appear, and the opalescent skin begins to actually form pictures ahead of you, almost like a giant painting of constantly writhing snake scales. You see a heroic figure, tall and dark, rippling with muscle, bearing a proud headdress. He strikes down a lizard creature and turns to his cheering people. A resplendent figure, so amazing and menacingly and simultaneously kind that it must be a god, holds this hero to his breast, proud of his deeds.
Raz the sea,
hisses the Naga.
champion of Mesro, chosen of Uptown.
Then the scene starts to shift, and the same heroic figure is shoving another man to the ground. He shouts angrily. You see the rage in his face. He takes up his sword, plunges it into the kneeling man's chest again and again, and the scales take on the form of blood pouring forth from the victim. The people of the city are silent, glaring in hatred at the hero. The god being closes its eyes in anger and raises its fingers to cast out this fallen hero.
Raz the sea, the Oathbreaker, cast out, humiliated, finds friends where once were enemies, seeks revenge.
You see Raznasi again, this time at the head of a massive army. The army moves towards the city, and we see that his soldiers are not men, but undead. Their hunger for living flesh is overcoming his control over them. They rampage across the jungle. Dinosaurs and men fall prey to their hunger. You see on the head of each undead creature a blue triangle. The god being strikes Raznasi, breaking his spirit.
Humiliated twice and unwilling to beg forgiveness, Raz the sea goes a step further down the dark path to an irredeemable place.
You see Raznasi trudging through the jungle. He is pale, gaunt, slick with sweat. Scars cover his body. He pulls back branches and sees that he is before a massive cliff. Ahead of him is the huge ruin of a city, sunken into the jungle floor like a giant pit. Rivers cascade into waterfalls, flooding parts of the sunken city. Lava from a deep fissure in the ground is bubbling up, rupturing the city in two.
Omu.
Raznasi descends into the city, walking down a boulevard and through the open doors of a grand palace. He descends into the dark, and for a moment the scales of the snake regain their natural color, and then spirals appear, like waves or images of thousands of writhing snake bodies, making you dizzy as they play over the Naga's own writhing skin.
The change.
Raznasi bathes in a massive bathhouse. Every inch of him, the tub, the floor around him drenched in crimson, slick blood. Steam rises from the fresh and sticky fluid. He smiles, then opens his mouth in a wide O, and then his skin and body begin to stretch. From within his mouth emerges a new head, fully formed and subhuman. Covered in blood-soaked scales, a new monster appears out of his body, dragging itself bit by bit out of it. The head and torso of a man, powerful arms with all of his legendary strength returned to him, and the long, scaled body of a pit viper instead of legs.
The Fane of the Night Serpent.
And then the images fade.
You seek the Soulmonger.
Cranston asks, we seek the Soulmonger. Where can we find it?
The city of Omu lies to the south. Follow the mountains. You have two choices. The jungle or the mines.
How do we defeat Raznasi?
You could let the ravages of time do their work.
A little bit faster, maybe.
Or you could confront him. Or there is dissension among his people. The Yuan Ti. Maybe you could turn them against him.
Who are they?
Anybody could make an Arcana check or a History check.
Douglas got 16.
You've heard legends of the Yuan Ti, a race of nihilistic snake people once upon a time enslaved nations and ravaged much of the world. At this point in time, the common people accept it as little more than a fairy tale or like a boogeyman in the night. But your descriptions that you've read of match the ritual, it appears, that Raz Nasi went through in order to change himself.
Cranston would like to produce the Amaze Orb.
Okay. You present to Saja the Amaze Orb.
That is an epsilon sphere. Once every 100 years, a hero rises amongst the men of Jolt. The epsilon sphere becomes a weapon that allows them to strike fear and danger to the hearts of evil.
Cranston produces the crane box.
That is a cube of one of the 9 trickster gods. Papazotl the Eblis. The trickster gods were once the rulers of Omu. After Obtau had abandoned Jolt,
What does the cube do?
I believe that it is a key that will grant you access to the Soul Monk.
It sounds like we need to find whoever can wield this Amaze Orb into the
That's
weapon.
a good idea.
The camera pans wide over the jungle, zooming in on a half-elf. What's happening with Rye? You said you're following Kozif Harklaw out into the jungle?
He said he was going south.
Yes.
I kind of want to get a bearing of the direction they're going. Does it seem like he's going back up the peninsula towards the mainland, or is he sort of like going into like a weird different area?
Yeah, if
or-
you traveled north from here, you would hit Portna and Zaru eventually. Traveling south, directly south, you would go through much jungle, potentially hit a volcano or two, and then the ocean. If you go southeast, basically you would end up going through to this undiscovered continent south of Chult. It's huge. It's unexplored.
No.
At least in past millennia. So you're following him.
Yeah.
That's basically, you're trying to get an idea of, was he being truthful with you?
Yeah.
First, I'm going to get you to roll a survival check.
Survival.
Because it's been a little while, you got to find their tracks.
Nope.
You're attempting to find their tracks. You're back and forth over a couple areas, and you end up coming to a creek, maybe 7-8 feet across, and there is some tracks in the mud around the creek that lead in. And you look up closely to these, and you can see that they have a really pronounced toe and heel pattern. It looks like, you know, a bootless foot, but with some of the flesh worn off of it, essentially.
Yeah, this is an undead foot.
Yeah, you have a couple of these bony, fleshy tracks leading into the river.
Into the river?
Yeah, they lead into the river. They kind of almost look like they're angled that they would come out on the other side of the bank. You just have to make your way over there.
Can I gauge the other side of the bank?
You have a pretty good idea based on the direction of entry and the flow of the creek. They might be just a little to the right on the other side. But right now there's too much brush blocking your view. You can't see the tracks from your side.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to climb a tree.
Yeah.
I'm going to swing like Tarzan on a vine over the creek.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
All right.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
But not very sneaky.
No problem.
Oh, right.
Okay, so you swing across, giving a as you go. You land on the other side. This is just like swinging a rope on a ship. You did a great job.
Didn't even have to roll.
Yeah, your skill is there. Your
Nice.
experience is there. You found a good vine. You swing across, you land on the other side, and you poke around a little bit, and you see more of these tracks on the other side next to this bush. They lead off into the jungle, and you can see after about 10 or 12 feet, they rejoin with a larger group of tracks. Some of them booted, some of them more skeletal.
Can I sort of like discern how many footprints there are here?
That would definitely be a survival check.
All right. 14? 14.
That's not bad. You figure that this is probably around the right number, but you don't have an exact number.
Okay, so yeah.
So now you've got the path. You are going to give me a stealth check if you want to creep up on them.
23.
Nice. You're a total shadow. You are bush to bush. You alone sneak up, and you can see the group of humans ahead of you. Right now you can kind of see their shoulders poking up above the brush, and they're in a bit of a circle talking to each other. They're using normal volume. They are all heavily accented like Kozef was, and the gist that you get is that they are heading south, but they're worried about your group and who they are. Who were those guys? What are they going to the Oracle for? What if they're coming the same way as us? What if they're also after the Soulmonger? And then make a perception check.
15.
Okay. A rattle and clatter of bones behind you,
Uh-oh.
and a skeleton literally bumps and trips over you as you're standing there in the bush with the bags that were held in the rib cage, the bedroll, the water skin all clatter out, causing a huge crash.
Well, I'm not too worried about the skeletons anymore.
And as the guards further on start to go, oh, what's that? You actually see the bone start to skitter across the ground and reassemble itself in front of you.
I'm going to grab like the hip bone.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I'm going to throw it as far as I can in the other direction.
You grab the pelvis and throw it like a discus into
That was
the
your
forest.
strategy with the grung, too.
Throw it. Rye is kind of a one-beat character.
The skeleton's still reforming its top half and lower half. It's not going to get that pelvis, but it's still kind of reforming back together.
Good luck. I'm going to run away.
You're going to run?
Well,
Okay.
I'm going to sneak.
Okay, so roll a stealth.
18.
I rolled a 20. So they have a beat on you, and now they are chasing you through the forest.
All right.
You realize that stealth is not going to work here, and you start to hoof it.
Yeah.
As they're chasing you, I'm going to have you roll in athletics to try and keep ahead of them.
8.
The guides start to catch up on you, start to form a little bit of a circle around you, and then as you're running, you slam into this invisible barrier. And
That's hard to see.
And it starts to coalesce into this ghostly skeletal hand the size of a man, and it starts to wrap its way around you.
Can I escape?
It is a 26 athletics check. It could be an acrobatics as well.
21.
You take 7 bludgeoning damage from the hand crushing around you, and then the guards close in. They each plunge a blade into you, stabbing repeatedly as you are pinned there. And just as you are beginning to fade out,
You'll never stop us!
Kozef comes out of the bushes, walks up to you. I think we will stop you.
I spit
think-
blood in his face.
It splatters on him. Masterpieces.
I spit blood on Masterpiece.
God damn it!
He casts another spell, and a choking black cloud forms around your head. The music in this episode was produced by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com and is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Saja Nabaza.
Saja.
Sasha, blah, blah, blah.